In today's video, we're gonna look at Anton Frondell. He's probably the most polarizing prospect in this draft, so when you look at the top 15 prospect in this year, he's probably the one who has the most disparity among public lists. He was pretty solid last season in Sweden, but he ended up the year injured and started this one a bit late, so he needed a few weeks to get up to par with his usual play. But I would be lying if I told you that what he is currently is the image that I envisioned, that I projected of him at this point last season. Because he lacks some tools in his toolkit and he definitely has some hole in his game, but at the same time, the quality that he has, the tools that he do possess, are pretty much higher than the rest of his peers. So this is why you have to be wary about not dropping him too low on your list. So let's jump right into the heat of the subject. Frondell has a pretty good bag of shots, one of the best in the entire draft, and his best shot is definitely his one-timer. It is absurd how violent his one-timer is. He can gain elevation on his shot and he's able to put the puck on the goalie's short side without sacrificing any power, any velocity behind his one-timer. So pretty remarkable weapon all around, and that makes him a viable option on the power play. His wrist shot is also very good, and he excels at that specific play when he's coming down the wing on his strong side and he kind of open up his blade to gain the center of the slot and give himself more option in front of the goaltender.
Donkar lite med backarna.
Här Frondell. Frondell! Krysset!
Det går ut 2 minuter. Vad kan Djurgården hitta på här? Ja, han kan hitta på sådär, ja. Här har skottläge för Hävelid, men han spelar den. Här kommer skottet i mål.
Ner. Frondell ska skjuta nu. Williamson.
Frondell.
One of the things that makes him unique in this class is the deceptive skills that he shows in certain specific areas, so along the board and inside his puck reception. Despite not having the lightest feet, Frondell is very good at understanding how to manipulate the angles of his opponents in what I would call footwork manipulation. He knows how to influence their approach and their skating angles, and he kind of reminds me of Leon Draisaitl in this aspect. That being said, the number of flashes that I saw from this specific skill was a bit too slim, so it's kind of hard to use that argument to propel him any higher on the list. His puck protection skills is also an area that can look pretty promising for him at times. There's different way for players to protect the puck, so it will all depend on their physical advantage or disadvantage. Players with smaller builds will try to get underneath their opponents to create better leverage for them. And in Frondell's case, he will take advantage of his sturdy frame and he will present his back to his opponents to push them away. One of the things that he do excels is to spin off pressure, so whenever he looks to be trapped between the boards and his opponents, he's really good at escaping the point of contact. If he can execute those kind of escape on a regular basis, he can be a real added value for his team when it comes time for puck possession. And those are the kind of details that can propose a player very high in his team lineup. One of the things that leaves no doubt in Frondell's game is his physical play. Among the top prospects in this year's draft, he is definitely the one who has the most amount of FU in his game. He has a mean streak, and just look at him actively seeking to make his opponents pay the price on this shift.
Sin 10:e plats också. Ja, tackling.
Eklund. Frondell.
Åker upp ting kring denna jättetalang som spelar.
Milosevic. Frondell som kliver lägret. Inte spelat sedan den 4 december alltså. Det var oerhört spelsugen.
Pretty much anything you asked him to.
I also like the fact that he has the presence of mind to initiate contact himself even in situations where he should be the target. As a result of that, he is the king at the reverse hit in this draft class, and even if the NHL higher ups want to abolish those kind of hits, I just love them personally.
Flippassning. Tar han av pucken igen på ett bra sätt.
His skating is probably the aspect that people have the most question on, and even if it's true that he isn't the quickest on his feet, I don't believe that his skating will hinder his success at the NHL level. To me, it's gonna be average among the league. Some might argue that he's already developed physically and he doesn't have as much as leeway as other prospects in terms of physical growth and power development. And this was something I was a little apprehensive with Ryan Leonard in his draft year, was the fact that he was already physically developed, and in his case he has spent a few summer already training with pros and he was as strong as them, if not strong. And this was something I was a bit apprehensive regarding Ryan Leonard's in his draft year, was the fact that he was physically developed already, and in his case he had already spent a few summer training with pros, and he was just as strong, if not stronger than them in the gym. So I was a bit skeptical about the fact that maybe he doesn't have as much leeway as other prospects to improve his skating. And whenever I did watch him in the NCAA over the past 2 years, it is pretty notable that he did improve, in fact, his skating. And in Frondell's case, he ended up the year last season injured and he started this one a bit late. So maybe he didn't have the time to train as much as he would have wanted during the summer. So I'm definitely keeping the door open over the question if he can improve or not his skating. However, one of the main criticism I have on him is that his skating doesn't allow him to dictate the play and controls the game. This is pretty evident during his transition play. To me, it is his biggest weakness. He's not a player who will change his pace. He's also not very comfortable at maneuvering through the center of the ice. He also doesn't show the same evasiveness in open spaces as he do along the board, so whenever he is surrounded carrying the puck, he kinda panics and throws a bad pass to one of his teammates. I mainly see a player that will be forced to use dump and chase.
Passerat 5 minuters spel. Inga stora målchanser ännu. Nu kommer Frondell och då kan det hända en hel del.
At least he's pretty good at puck retrieval, so he's very confident in his physical abilities and he isn't afraid of contact, so he can therefore get in front of his opponent without too much trouble. The other weakness in Frondell's game is that he lacks some high-level playmaking. There is still some cohesiveness in his game as he's able to feed his teammates from behind the net thanks to the skills mentioned earlier.
Sweden 3-2 in Cornwall, Ontario in 2022. These two teams shot out in front. Oh my goodness, Tegelar!
Nu ska Cham få se upp på nytt.
He has also shown some finesse with some saucer passes. However, he doesn't display enough confidence in possession of the puck and he has to rely on short distance passes.
Lämnar den där bakåt till Eklund. Frondell är fint.
Frondell hittar Eklund.
One of the mistakes he is guilty of is maintaining too much eye contact with his target, which can make him predictable.
Så slarv Oskarshamn. Här är det spelvändning. Frondell. Nu kan det bli farligt. Frondell får tillbaka och spelar igen mot Eklund.
På igen. Frondell spelar den vidare.
Otherwise, the main problem with his playmaking is that the volume simply isn't high enough. So this is what has made Frondell such a divisive prospect, is that despite some high-level qualities, he still lacks some crucial parts to his game, especially for a high pick in the draft, which should be a key part of your team's rebuild. So to me, I see him as a top 6 complementary winger. I do not see him as a center in the NHL. There's just no way with his poor transition play and the lack thereof of playmaking, but his ability to score goal and to extend his team puck's possession in the offensive zone should make him a prospect that team will definitely take a look at. And even if he didn't necessarily meet all the expectations that I had on him, I still have him quite high on my list because there's just way too few players that I like. And speaking of which, the next video will be on Boston College center James Higgins.
Frondell är där. Bra utav Djurgårdsbacken. Titta här. Blomgren i mål! David Blomgren.
Deflected, just wide. Confidence that's given Sweden. They're riding it right now. Puck in front again. Tegelar had number 11. Cross ice feed. He scored for his Calgary Canuck teammate Maloney. He'll get beat in a foot chase again. Down the wing, another shorthanded chance. Backhand. He
Kan det komma skott? Berg håller inne. Ja, bra lirat och snabbt in.
Frondell. Fråndelsskytt senast. Nu utmanar han på det där viset. tar sig förbi Wikman och river ner applåder på Hovet. Anton Eklund och Frondell inne på isen för Djurgården. Frondell iväg.
Ja, det är nära igen, det är nära igen och det är nära igen. Hemmapubliken gillar och passningen är riktigt bra räddning. Ja, bra köksväg.
Frondell är förbi. Gör en liten sväng om, lägger elegant upp för Hävelid. Frondell.
Uppe vid listen, Blomgren. Här kommer Frondell. Hävelid. Eklund. Hävelid. Frondell. Och Tex Williams. Hävelid. Frondell. Frondell som vill Kostmar. Nu är det Frondell-läge.
Sissens Frondell. Keller lyfter fram den till Frondell utan klubba. Oskar Lindgren, Frondell tar sig fram och Keller till Toresen, passar Frondell! Frondell. Djurgården med över 30% i powerplay. Frondell. Men först
I stolpen. Frondell.
Big shot, saved by
set Joel Wallen.
Frondell rather. What nice moves out. Save off the side. Might have got more on the side of the net than anything. As Frondell more on him at the whistle. If he's on the ice, tries to get it out in front. Frondell right in tight. Tegelar trying to get it out of the zone. Puck out in front. Frondell puts.